The Gospel of Barnabas, edited and translated from the Italian manuscript in the Imperial Library at Vienna by Lonsdale and Laura Ragg. 1907 of the Common Era. Chapter 97. Unworthy though I am to untie his hosen, I've received grace and mercy from God to see him. Then answered the priest, with the governor and the king, saying, Distress not thyself, O Jesus, Holy One of God, because in our time shall not this sedition be any more, seeing that we will write to the sacred Roman Senate in such wise that by imperial decree none shall any more call thee God or Son of God. Then said Jesus, With your words I am not consoled, because where ye hope for light, darkness shall come. But my consolation is in the coming of the messenger, who shall destroy every false opinion of me, and his faith shall spread, and shall take hold of the whole world. For so hath God promised to Abraham our father. And that which giveth me consolation is that his faith shall have no end, but shall be kept inviolate by God. The priest answered, After the coming of the messenger of God, shall other prophets come? Jesus answered, There shall not come after him true prophets sent by God, but there shall come a great number of false prophets, whereat I sorrow. For Satan shall raise them up by the just judgment of God, and they shall hide themselves under the pretext of my gospel. Herod answered, How is it a just judgment of God that such impious men should come? Jesus answered, It is just that he who will not believe in the truth to his salvation should believe in a lie to his damnation. Wherefore I say unto you that the world hath ever despised the true prophets and loved the false, as can be seen in the time of Micaiah and Jeremiah. For every like loveth his like. Then said the priest, How shall the Messiah be called, and what sign shall reveal his coming? Jesus answered, The name of the Messiah is admirable, for God gave himself the name which he had created his soul, and placed it in a celestial splendor. God said, Wait, Muhammad, for thy sake I will to create paradise, the world, and a great multitude of creatures. Wherefore I make thee a present, insomuch that whoso shall bless thee shall be blessed, and whoso shall curse thee shall be accursed. When I shall send thee into the world, I shall send thee as my messenger of salvation, and thy word shall be true, inasmuch that heaven and earth shall fail, but thy faith shall never fail. Muhammad is his blessed name. Then the crowd lifted up their voices, saying, O God, send us thy messenger. O Muhammad, come quickly for the salvation of the world. And let us remember, rather than think that this is just some completely new thing, I pointed out the Greek issue, and I've also pointed out, well, maybe not here, in the Song of Songs, Mechmed, and the plural, Mechmedim, and in Arabic, the ha is in the place of the chaf. "98. And having said this, the multitude departed with the priest, and the governor with Herod, having great disputations concerning Jesus and concerning his doctrine, whereupon the priest prayed the governor to write unto Rome to the Senate the whole matter, which thing the governor did. Wherefore the Senate had compassion on Israel, and decreed that, on pain of death, none should call Jesus the Nazarene, prophet of the Jews, either God or Son of God, which decree was posted up in the temple, engraved on copper. When the greater part of the crowd had departed, there remained about 5,000 men, without women and children, who being wearied by the journey, having been 2 days without bread, for that, through longing to see Jesus, they had forgotten to bring any. Whereupon they ate raw herbs. Therefore they were not able to depart like the others. Then Jesus, when he perceived this, had pity on them, and said to Philip, Where shall we find bread for them, that they perish not of hunger? Philip answered, Lord, 200 pieces of gold could not buy so much bread, that each one should taste a little. Then said Andrew, There is here a child which hath 50 loaves, which hath 5 loaves and 2 fishes. But what will it be among so many? Jesus answered, Make the multitude sit down. And they sat down upon the grass by 50s and by 40s. Thereupon said Jesus, In the name of God. And he took the bread, and prayed to God, and then brake the bread, which he gave to the disciples, and the disciples gave it to the multitude. And so they did with the fishes. Everyone ate, and everyone was satisfied. Then said Jesus, Gather up that which is over. So the disciples gathered those fragments, and filled 12 baskets. Thereupon everyone put his hand to his eyes, saying, Am I awake, or do I dream? And they remained, every one, for the space of an hour, as it were, besides themselves, by reason of the great multitude, being fed with this great miracle. Afterwards, Jesus, when he had given thanks to God, dismissed them. But there were 72 men that willed not to leave him. Wherefore Jesus, perceiving their faith, chose them for disciples. Now, we talked about the Kalki avatar previously. And so, rather than working with the sedition, when one emits God's power, little may satisfy much. "99. Jesus, having withdrawn into a hollow part of the desert in Tyro near to Jordan, called together the 72 with the 12, and when he had seated himself upon a stone, made them to sit near him. And he opened his mouth with a sigh, and said, This day have we seen a great wickedness in Judea and in Israel, and such an one that my heart yet trembleth within my breast for fear of God. Verily I say unto you, that God is jealous for his honor, and loveth Israel as a lover. Ye know that when a youth loveth a lady, and she love not him, but another, he is moved to indignation, and slayeth his rival." Well, hopefully not, but I met a guy who came close to doing that. "Even so, I tell you, doth God. For when Israel hath loved anything by reason whereof he forgetteth God, God hath brought such a thing to naught. Now what thing is more dear to God here on earth than the priesthood and the holy temple? Nevertheless, in the time of Jeremiah the prophet, when the people had forgotten God, and boasted only of the temple, for that there was none like it in all the world, God raised up his wrath by Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and with an army caused him to take the holy city and burn it with the sacred temple, insomuch that the sacred things which the prophets of God trembled to touch were trodden under foot of infidels full of wickedness. Abraham loved his son Ishmael a little more than was right. Wherefore God commanded, in order to kill that evil love out of the heart of Abraham, that he should slay his son, which he would have done had the knife cut. David loved Absalom vehemently, and therefore God brought it to pass that the son rebelled against the father, and was suspended by his hair, and slain by Joab. O fearful judgment of God, that Absalom loved his hair above all things, and this was turned into a rope to hang him withal. Innocent Job came near to loving overmuch his 7 sons and 3 daughters, when God gave him into the hand of Satan, who not only deprived him of his sons and his riches in one day, but smote him also with grievous sickness, insomuch that for 7 years following worms came out of his flesh. Our father Jacob loved Joseph more than his other sons, wherefore God caused him to be sold, and caused Jacob to be deceived by these same sons, insomuch that he believed that the beast had devoured his son, and so abode 10 years in mourning." And one difference that Islam has is that in the Quran it does not say that God changed his mind about what he ordered people, that, I'm kidding, don't do that. It doesn't say that God sanctioned that dream. It literally doesn't say that God sanctioned that dream. Of course, people have interpreted the Judeo-Christian way